Peace. So, they say you gotta do this to let people know you're not no fucking AI, right? But this is Start with the Star Blooms. Y'all, I'm sitting here, and the thing about being a channeler, okay, is that you perceive so much information constantly, you know. Um, you can't turn it off, and the more you try to turn it off, the more it amps up, depending on what energy we in. Um, and what's all basically aiding us at that particular time. What do I mean? Like, what planets are basically in alignment here, supporting you, where you're at on your journey, so on and so forth. I shared a message earlier on live, basically speaking to the effects of how we could start to basically deal with layers of frustration and aggression and anger, especially in the women with the womb, by healing ourselves and giving to ourselves at a rate where we perceive our desires and our needs being met because we see to them. And I also stated how pertinent it is for us to basically, how important, how significant it is for us to basically move forward and beyond the spaces that we've allowed ourselves to be in and then flourish in, by basically seeding, and fertilizing sacred grounds, by calling in things on a global and universal level, by connecting to that which is, by being in alignment, right? A lot of things, 755, been so many fives today, okay? A lot of things that have been coming into play have really, really been our making. And a lot of us aren't aware that a lot of the things that we are perceiving right now is based off of our lack of focused mindset. If we all, you know, intuitively, instinctively, like if we all had a thread that we were all basically intending for, weaving and creating and cultivating in our existence, in our experiences, in our lives, living, right, by being, we would see such uh I believe expansion. I believe growth. I believe we would see a rate of creation that would be so amazing, a layer of authenticity, like people would be so authentic. I believe it would be so magical. I would believe it's so much that I know to be true if certain things are put in place. However, regardless of what I say, I've recognized that there's this channel that's so ragged and that is so low vibrational that constantly wants to omit certain rates of like instability, you know, and it's really, really through connections and tethered cords. And when we start to go through the processes of cutting cords, we don't know, we're not aware if we're removing things that are needed. You get what I'm saying? I believe that the most important thing that you could do is get close to you because, all right, and I believe I've said it, but you're an antenna for so much information. Your body is engaging with, interacting with, filtering, processing, communicating. There's so much that your body has the capacity to do depending on how you are in handling and being with it, depending on how much you allow yourself to be sensitive and allow yourself to hear and feel and see beyond the spaces that you may have previously allowed yourself to, just because you weren't aware. Awareness is so important because if you don't know, you don't know. It doesn't matter if I'm telling you this or not until you become aware of what I'm saying to you. And your awareness isn't just by sitting in the room. Person can be present while somebody they not present isn't the word, because if you present, right? But a person could be in a room and all the most amazing things could be it could be put on the table. Everything could be put on the table. This person has the ability to check out based off of their level of awareness. How do you address your awareness? Meditation, all right? You get clear, you get away from a lot of BS, all right? And you have straight facts when you go into meditation. Things will be ripped out of your perception. Things will be removed. Your ability to sit in that space of stillness opens up so much more. And that's what we got to focus on right now. Because regardless of what's happening, things are occurring at such a rapid rate. And if you're allowing these things to be perceived for you outside of you, and it's constantly interferences coming in and out, you will be unsteady. That's why I said that y'all got to learn how to balance and find steady feet and steady matter at this point, because that's what's vital. It's not low vibrational. When you connect to yourself, I can't, I can't, I can't be jealous of what anybody has going on. I can't. Why can I not be jealous? Here's the thing. This won't meant for me. A lot of people don't have the ability to be at a rate. If you sit in a space and jealousy comes towards you, and you at a space where you even on a healing journey and you real integral about that healing journey, you're gonna say to yourself, dang, I kinda said some shit that was low vibrational just then. All she's doing is sharing the information. How do I know what she's saying is true? How do I know if how she's showing up is authentic? How can I be sure? You don't never know these things, right? So what you do, you check yourself, right? You check yourself if you are healing and you integral in this space. I perceive that I might be a little triggered. Why am I triggered here? Oh, because why do I want this? Because I get to have it. Why do I get to have this? Right? It be things where you could get down to the root of shit. Okay? That's what make people real, real good when they be reading people. You ask the right fucking questions. And a lot of y'all sit in the midst having conversation, spelling, gossiping, speaking, right? Over things, creating from chaos. Okay? And then you be mad about what comes back to you based off of how you are in your being, how you show up, how you're doing. Okay, so it's like we don't have to do that. When you get in alignment with yourself, you learn that even in aligning, it still got to be a buffer period. But in buffering, we don't have to go through pain. We don't have to go through suffering. People feel like you have to like force your way through things for them to become good. And then it stays there. There are always dips and plateaus. There's climbs, there's steady, you are cycling through it. It's different from looping. Looping, you could stay in one spot for 8 years. I recognize how I had patterns, y'all. Start paying attention to the patterns of your life. You could loop through something and you could stay real good and comfortable for whatever time frame you might need to go through that space. Do what it is that you need to do. If that's where you at, be in a space where you receive that information and you allow yourself to integrate and heal and remove the things that is necessary so you could align to that which you desiring. You get to have what she has, friend. You get to have what he has, friend. You get to desire these things if they in alignment for you, right? But you recognize a lot of the times, and this is what hurts, you recognize a lot of the times when you go in, oh, this ain't really what I wanted. I just liked how it looked on somebody else. It don't even look right on me. And you start to get a custom made experience based off of how you went in, how you perceived, how you allowed your team to speak over and speak in you, how you allowed the Most High to speak through you and will forward from you in creation, in cultivating, and it be just right. And then it's like I'm happy and I'm in the space that I'm supposed to be in. It ain't nothing that's gonna be able to keep. I went to the source about this. I didn't have no group chats. I didn't have no group conversation. I wasn't in no friend group. I went to the Most High about this. It's not up to other people to decide what it is that you get to discover from within. And you don't have to allow other people to come in the midst of what you work so diligent to acquire based off of how you invested in yourself. You get to teach people that they could do the same thing for them, and we get to all be at the rate that we're desiring and discerning and even seeing and seeking and hoping and you hear what I'm saying, intending for other people to have as well. Okay, y'all, we get to be focused and intentional at this time, purposely because it's important. I love y'all. Be on Be specific about how you're intending because it's going to manifest. I promise you it will, okay? Please, this is star, like, comment, share.